Good evening, class. We did our final working plan on the Delta Airlines. Our group consisted of Sacramento, Lane, Emily, Millard, and myself.
The political factors that are affecting the industry are the COVID-19 pandemic, and as a result of the pandemic, the travel ban. The travel ban has reduced international flights significantly, and in order to preserve revenue, airlines are having to offer discounts, waive cancellation fees, and offer free postponements. Due to the World Health Organization declaring a pandemic, airlines are now marketing by showing their sanitation procedures and concern for their customers, but there are still huge industry losses despite these efforts.
Economic factors include economic growth, income groups, and rates such as unemployment rate, inflation rate, and exchange rates. Berkshire Hathaway sold 13 million Delta Air Lines shares for a price of $314 million on April 3, 2020, presumably due to the impact of coronavirus on the stock market. Also, Delta Air Lines applied for government grants through the Treasury Department on the same day, April 3, 2020. These grants will provide $25 billion to airlines to assist in the aftermath of coronavirus. Sociocultural factors include population growth rates, age groups, cultural norms, and attitudes toward health, careers, safety, and lifestyle. Airline travel demand has fallen dramatically due to the coronavirus pandemic, causing Delta Airlines to cut costs by begging employees to accept unpaid leave. As of April 3, 2020, 30,000 Delta Airlines employees had agreed to take leave without pay. Also, the greater the world population and the stronger globalization ties become, the more demand Delta Airlines may experience. The population growth rate in 2020 is 1.05%. While this rate is slowing down, by 2057 the world population will reach 10 billion people.
Technology has continually changed and has been incorporated in the way airlines conduct their business. This change is due to younger generations' heavy usage of mobile devices and the internet. In-flight connectivity is a term used to describe the need to access the internet to enhance the experience and service of a flight. With the implementation of more technology to enhance the experience of flights, air traffic is expected to increase dramatically, which will require airlines to build planes that have a better capacity and IFC capability. Other technologies set to impact the industry are biofuel and self-flying planes, as well as incorporating biometrics or boarding procedures, which will help airlines save money and meet society's expectations. The present and future challenges with technological changes are preventing connectivity issues, training both employees and consumers so they are familiar with the technology, and addressing cultural differences such as a culture that is unfamiliar with using technology and therefore needs to be convinced to use the technology as they continue to refuse to use it or are just unfamiliar with using technology in general. The environmental factors affecting the airline industry are corporate social responsibility, CSR, and environmental regulations. CSR is a concept that businesses need to hold themselves more accountable for their impact on employees, society, and the environment. This is especially important to younger generations as the environment is a huge concern to them. The EPA and the ICAO also have regulations in place to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and improve fuel efficiency in the airline industry. On top of having to invest in a lot better procedures and aircraft to meet these expectations, failure to meet both regulations and CSR impact the industry because if these airlines fail to prepare, they will run the risk of losing market share, paying high fees for not meeting regulations, and becoming inferior to other companies.
The final step of conducting a pestle analysis is to take a look at legal factors. Legal factors include government and political stability, foreign trade laws and restrictions, and policies concerning government, tax, and trade. In 2018, Congress passed a law to reauthorize the FAA through 2023 and to require minimum seat size and legroom standards. The 9/11 attacks were a major event in the United States history that had a powerful impact on the airline industry. After the attacks, the number of planes in flight were reduced to the fewest possible, which led to fewer empty seats on planes and fewer airline employees.
Next, we'll talk about the competitive analysis for Delta Airlines. Who are our competitors? We narrowed our competitors down to 4 different airliners: American Airlines, Southwest Airlines, United Airlines, and Spirit Airlines. Our competitors mainly come from the current market leaders domestically, and then a couple other airliners who are trying to target the millennial generation. What are a few strengths and weaknesses of these airliners? For American, they have a large fleet size, which allows them to offer a variety of different flight destinations and options. But a weakness for them is that their prices do not compare price-wise with regional low-budget airlines. For Southwest Airlines, one of their strengths is their point-to-point model, which allows the airliner to travel to smaller destinations at lower prices. But one of their weaknesses is they haven't yet expanded internationally and only have up to 14 international destinations. For United Airlines, their main strength is their strategic alliance program, which allows customers to earn mileage rewards with other international airlines from around the world. And lastly, is Spirit Airlines. Their strength is they are the supreme cost leader with low fares from a variety of large domestic airports to a variety of destinations and size. Their weaknesses, though, is they have generally been known for terrible customer service and flight experience. What are each of their market shares? American has 17.6% of the market, Southwest has 16.9% of the market, United has 14.9% of the market, and Spirit Airlines has 4.2% of the domestic market share. What do our competitors want? Mainly they want 2 things: an increased market share and international expansion. As you saw in that last chart, 3 out of the 4 competitors have a large portion of the market share and want to expand domestically. They also want international expansion, as all 4 of the airliners are either in the process of adding international destinations or adding international partnerships. What is American's current strategy? To establish more international partnerships, which then in turn equals more international routes and more international destinations. United's current strategy is product and service modification, which leads to a better flight experience. And also, they also want to create more joint ventures as they see it as an opportunity to not spend their money but expand. Southwest is looking to have the lowest fares with the supreme customer service while also providing more flights to more places. And lastly, Spirit is to become and remain the cost leader.
Customer analysis. Millennials and Generation Z. We are targeting Millennials and Generation Z. The total population of Millennials in the US is 78 million people. The spending power of Millennials is $200 billion. Generation Z has 65 million individuals with a spending power of $44 billion. 60% of Millennials shop online. Younger Millennials are even more likely to do their shopping online. Generation Z is even more tech-savvy and grew up with technology. Generation Z is also the first digitally native generation and does not distinguish between online and offline channels.
Next is the SWOT analysis for Delta Airlines. After doing research on Delta Airlines and its competitors, we determined that Delta's strengths are that they have unrivaled customer service, they have a relatively large fleet, around 913 planes, in hubs all over the United States, and they have established international joint ventures and partnerships, which allow them to expand internationally without spending their capital. Their weaknesses, though, is that same reliance on international partnerships, which limits their full control outside of their domestic market. Also, their hub and spoke model they currently use for their flights can lead to undermanned planes. Their opportunities is to use technology to not only improve customer service, but to improve the flight experience, whether that be pre-flight or during the flight. And also, they can improve their customers' perception of the company through humanitarian and crisis help efforts through this pandemic, maybe by flying nurses or medical personnel for free or something along those lines. Their threats, though, are the current travel restrictions due to COVID-19. the economic downturn, such as the one that is currently being displayed, and lastly, a global disaster, such as the COVID-19 pandemic, where travel is currently down 96% from a year ago. Now we'll talk about the recommended marketing strategy for Delta Airlines. First, the SMART objective. Our strategic SMART objective at Delta Airlines is to raise our domestic market share by 3% while expanding internationally by the end of 5 years, which we will accomplish by targeting the millennial segment of travelers. We plan to accomplish this through marketing to millennials and also improving our customer service and technology. Our value proposition is that Delta Airlines is the premier choice for air travel, whether it be for vacation, work, or a visit to the family. Delta Airlines is remaking the flying experience starting by a frictionless pre-flight process, starting from when you booked your ticket to the moment wheels touch down at your destination. And then our two strategic alternatives. The first strategic alternative would be scale back our international expansion efforts, and our second strategic alternative would be to switch our main target segment to older generations, such as the boomers generation.
Now we will look at the product plan. Delta Airlines product is classified as a service, which is inherently intangible, perishable, inseparable, and variable. Services typically require a higher level of control, supplier credibility, and adaptability when compared with durable and non-durable goods, according to Kotler. The 5 product levels are core benefits, basic products, expected products, augmented products, and potential products. The core benefit of Delta Airlines is the ability to travel to a desired location. The basic product is a seat, a bathroom, and a flight. Expected product is a comfortable seat, a clean bathroom, and a safe and timely flight to the correct location. The augmented product are friendly flight attendants, early boarding options, upgraded flights with no extra charge, extra legroom, and free Wi-Fi. And potential products include all of the augmented products as well as any feature changes, such as private flights. The 4 stages of a product life cycle are the introduction stage, growth, maturity, and the decline stage. It is difficult to tell which stage best describes Delta Airlines right now due to the current impact of coronavirus. As far as new product development, Delta Airlines is an established business, so it focuses on incremental innovations.
Now, I'll talk about the recommended pricing plan for Delta Airlines. What is our pricing objective? It would be maximum market share. As a portion of the travelers are millennials or Gen Zs, that gives Delta Airlines the perfect opportunity to set prices at which those customers value and capitalize by earning a higher market share. What is our recommended pricing method? It would be to use a mix between target return pricing and perceived value pricing. The main reason just being because the mix of the two methods satisfy Delta Airlines' need while also being able to stay flexible through times like now. What is our price recommendation? For an average round trip, it costs about $325, almost a 10% decrease from last year's average for a variety of reasons, mainly being the pandemic going on right now. And that leads into the demand. Right now, the demand is low due to travel bans and the need for travel very low because work at home orders and things along those lines. But there is potential for the demand to grow back to the level before the pandemic. Cost estimate for Delta Airlines, it's around $330 per passenger on an average round trip flight. And the costs include fuel costs, facility fees, landing fees, takeoff fees, security fees, and salaries.
Next, we will look at the channel evaluation. Delta Airlines uses a consumer marketing channel, and it is not recommended at this time to add or remove any of its channel members. Its channel is a zero-level channel when customers purchase airline tickets directly from the Delta Airlines website, and it is a one-level channel when customers purchase Delta Airlines tickets from intermediaries, such as Expedia.com. Using the internet as the main channel comes with costs, risks, and benefits. For example, Delta Airlines must invest in professionals such as graphic designers and software engineers to maintain an updated website. It also must invest in cybersecurity measures to keep customers' personal information safe. But by using the internet, Delta Airlines has great access to millennials and Generation Z, many of whom are comfortable with online shopping. And it also has a greater reach to a larger market when it uses intermediaries like Expedia. Next, we will look at the marketing communication plan. The target audience includes millennials and Gen Z. Millennials were born between 1977 and 1994, and these two generations participate in online shopping and traveling. Our communications objective is to directly inform millennials and Gen Z that Delta Airlines will exceed their travel by air expectations. Delta Airlines offers millennials and Gen Z exactly what they want: an affordable trip to a multitude of locations in a comfortable plane. Our recommended ranking of the 8 marketing communication elements are as follows: online and social media marketing, mobile marketing, public relations and publicity, advertising, sales promotion, direct and database marketing, events and experiences, and personal selling. Millennials and Gen Z tend to be online and on social media platforms, so this is the top communication element that will be used to communicate this message.
Moving on, let's look at the financials of Delta. Coming to the break-even analysis, the break-even factor for the airline industry is calculated by the load factor. The load factor for an airline is calculated by dividing the total number of passengers by the total number of seats for all planes operated by the airline. The break-even load factor for Delta is 74.2%. This means 74.2% of Delta's overall seats on the airplanes must be occupied during a period, say a day, a month, a quarter, or a year, for Delta to break even. The break-even revenue for Delta is about $32,000 per mile. Coming to the assumptions, the financial figures corresponding to the balance sheet, income statement, and statement of cash flows were obtained from Delta website directly. The break-even concept was applied from the view of the standard economics concept. Risk analysis. The only uncertain variable affecting Delta right now is the COVID-2019 virus. The optimistic approach would be assuming a drug is discovered or invented to treat COVID-2019 soon. In this case, the economy and the industries will see a rapid V-shaped recovery. V-shaped recovery, as the alphabet V indicates, refers to a sharp fall and a sharp increase in an entity. In this case, if a drug is discovered, people will return to work, self-isolation will end, economic activity will increase, and the airline industry and economy in general will recover rapidly. The most likely scenario is relief from the virus during the summer months of 2020. With this case, the airline industry and the economy in general will witness a gradual U-shaped recovery. A U-shaped recovery, as the letter U indicates, has a wider bottom between a fall and an eventual rise. This means it will take more time for the economy and the airline industry to recover. The most pessimistic and unfortunate outcome will be if the pandemic numbers start to rise again. This means more mortality rates, higher economic inactivity, a probable multi-year recession, and people fighting to survive.
In order to carry out this plan, Delta would need to purchase a marketing dashboard to collect data, monitor progress, and allow the marketing team to collaborate with each other. Delta would focus on marketing through social media or the internet using banner ads and short videos. And these ads or short videos would advertise things that appeal to younger generations, such as Delta addressing corporate social responsibility. Delta must consider the cost of online ads, which are about $1.72 per click or $7.92 per 1,000 impressions. Therefore, in the first quarter, Delta would need a budget of about $1,250,000 to buy a marketing dashboard and to begin to create ads and brainstorm. Following quarters would need around $450,000 to use towards creating and paying for the current ads. And with this plan, Delta should expect to grow 0.15% market share each quarter to grow by 3% in 5 years in the domestic market. To measure customer satisfaction, Delta should consider using a 7-point Likert scale and ask customers for feedback on the advertisements, especially when a purchase was made as a direct result of the new advertisements. Delta should ask a variety of questions based on different categories and include an option for specific feedback. To entice some customers to take the survey, Delta should offer a small discount. Delta should also aim to address any categories regarding the flight and/or advertisements that scored under 5.5 out of 7 using the Likert scale, and Delta will use the specific feedback given by customers for the ads or services to brainstorm and solve the problem. Delta will also use the marketing dashboard to collect and monitor the data, and as the marketing dashboard will help foster collaboration and see other marketers' progress, and it will help them make changes to advertisements instantly. If the plan continually underperforms, then Delta should consider reducing the budget and shifting the focus of ads to other concerns. With less resources, Delta should only use a few ads and edit them to meet standards and be more selective of when to incorporate them. For example, Delta should use the data they collect from the dashboard to know which time and sites are best to incorporate the ads in, and should only consider sites where 70% or more of the users are millennials or Generation Z. The reduction in the budget could be 40% since there will be less of these ads to create and be used less.
Coming to the conclusion, marketing plans can gain strength and focus by centering on a specific market segment. This marketing plan focuses on two market segments, millennials and Generation Z. Although political, economic, social, and legal uncertainties originating from COVID-2019 have dented Delta financially, it is not the only company to be affected by the crisis. All of Delta's competitors are also facing a challenging time. So, though the virus may impact airlines temporarily, the long-term prospects look good. The world population continues to increase in the coming years, and the need for air travel continues to rise. Customizing the experience for millennials and younger generations, who are presently the largest market together combined and are going to be Delta's market for the next 20 to 30 years, understanding their needs and wants and matching them effectively will yield Delta rich results. This is a great time to plan, strategize, and get ready for the future.